Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of On Point for today, the 20th day of March 2026. My name is Alexis Jeffers, and of course I'm here every Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. And indeed I did say I'm here every Friday, but for the last 2 weeks I've been out. Various situations would have developed, so we have to adjust accordingly. And so whenever the opportunity arises, I am here as I am this afternoon. And so we'll get going, and I do apologize for the Fridays that I'm not here, because people would meet me and ask me what is going on. Of course, once I'm on the island and I'm not otherwise engaged, I am here. And this afternoon is one of those such afternoons. But it is indeed my pleasure being here, and it is something that I look forward to every week. And normally though, situation, as I said, arise. So we'll leave it as that for now. Let me start the usual way by saying good afternoon to all of the folks here on the island of Nevis, particularly up there in St. James. That's the constituency in which I live, and the constituency that I love. And so I want to say good afternoon to my good friend there in Barnaby, Violet Perkins. We say Baby Perkins. She is one who is always tuned in. Quite a number of persons have always told me in the past, and still continue to tell me, that they have made this show a staple for them, in that they tune in every Friday afternoon, not only to this particular show, but to Von Radio on a whole, 860 AM and 93.7 FM. And so, baby, good afternoon to you, and hopefully all is well with you. I also want to say good afternoon to all of the folks up there in Butlers, Brick Hill, come down into Camps Barnaby, Libert Hill, into Mount Lily, Fountain, down into Newcastle. That is pretty much the whole of St. James. But while I'm over there, let me say a special good afternoon to the folks up there in Fountain. Yesterday we would have laid, we went to the Cumbermere Methodist Church to pay our last respects to to honor the life and time of Cleflin Shine Daniel. I haven't come here since he departed this life, but I want to say to the entire Fountain community, thanks for coming out to show tremendous support to the family yesterday afternoon. It was a beautiful sending off, service over there at the Cumbermere Methodist Church. While I'm in Fountain, let me say good afternoon to quite a number of persons up there who are really special to me in terms of Hazel Nisbet. Saw you yesterday, good seeing you. And also Janet Jones, Janet, it was good having a conversation with you as well. And everyone else, including Ermin Nisbet, there at Cabo's One Stop. She says she listens to the program every Friday afternoon as well once I'm here. So it's good to have persons who are listening, because without you, the show cannot be what it normally is, in terms of a show that we impart knowledge and information for your consumption. And so everyone else who are listening, and I don't want to get into calling names, because if I do so and start calling many names, I'll be calling names until 2 o'clock this afternoon. But all of you who have made this a show of your choice and spend the time with us on a Friday afternoon, we certainly appreciate that. And so we go to the next thing on our agenda this afternoon, which is, we have persons who are departing this life almost on a daily basis. And, it's what it is. Life is a cycle. You're born, you live, and you die. And so it is important for us to embrace that and appreciate the fact that we do not know when our time will come, but it will come. And so we've had the passing of quite a number of persons in the constituency of St. James, but throughout Nevis on a whole. But since I'm up in the constituency, I just wanted to say to everyone up there who would have lost someone, continue to hold on and continue to be strong for each other as a family. But it's a really difficult and challenging time when you lose a loved one. It is final, and there's some finality to it, so we understand that for sure. Let me say at this point sympathy greetings to the entire family of Mr. Floyd Dudley Gabby Nisbet, who passed away yesterday. Well, those of us who know Floyd for many years who know Floyd was a guy who was involved in the water enhancement here on the island of Nevis. He was a plumber, he was an electrician, he was a jack of all trades, pretty much. But he would have done quite a bit of work with the Public Works Department, with the Water Department, and he would have done a few contractual work with the Nevis Housing and Land Development Corporation as well. He passed away, and of course, I want to express sympathies to Nurse Jane Harris as well, and the sons, who are left to mourn his loss. But the CCM family on a whole would recall that Floyd Harris, or Gabby as we would call him, was an integral part of the various campaigns we have had over the years. He was one who set up the system, the microphone system, or the system that is used to amplify the voice and so forth of the speakers. Those horns that persons would put on their vehicles, he was the one who was responsible for setting up those and outfitting vehicles with those particular horns so that you can drive around Charlestown or drive around the island and convey your message to the various communities. He was also a speaker on the platform as well. You know, when speakers or presenters are late in coming in the evening, Floyd will get on the platform and start the meeting and have his say. So he was pretty much engaged in the entire process, and we want to say his efforts and his exploits as a supporter of this great party is one that cannot be overlooked and must be cherished in many ways. His legacy certainly will live on. But the young persons who are coming up in the party who are unaware, I just wanted to impart that, basic knowledge to them, because we tend not to remember certain things. Or if you get into an organization and do not read upon the history or ask questions, these particular knowledge will not come to you. So I just wanted to say that Floyd was an integral part of our movement, the Concerned Citizens movement, and so we want to thank him for his contribution. His efforts would have ensured that the Concerned Citizens movement grew over the years and would have had the exploits we've had in elections. And so thank you very much to the entire family of Floyd Harris. Of course, we know Nurse Jane Harris was also a member of parliament here on the island of Nevis for a number of years, and I'm sure somewhere along the line Floyd Harris would have had his influence to ensure that Nurse Jane did what she did to connect and bring the various development and success to the constituency of St. James. So Nurse Jane, we are with you on this one, along with both sons and so forth. We want to make sure that between now and the time when the final celebration will be had, we will be there for you and let us know accordingly. Okay, so let us go on. We also would have lost Lorna Doris. As you recall, over the last couple of weeks I've been sending out greetings to Lorna, teacher Lorna as we'll say, over there in Combermere, and she would have passed away, I believe it was earlier this week or late last week. And so we want to express our sympathies to the entire Doris family. She would have left to mourn children and grandchildren and of course nieces, nephews. So we want to express our sympathies, and Lorna would have lived for in excess of 80 years, so she would have lived a full life to some extent, and we certainly will say to the family, we know it is a difficult period of time, but of course we are asking you to lean on God and put your trust and faith in Him. He will see you through this one. Earlier this week, though, a young person would have departed this life, Leticia Gomes. I don't know the young lady, but of course many persons here on the island of Nevis would have known her, and there are so many good things that are being expressed about Leticia. And so obviously in her short life she would have had a positive influence on those she would have interacted with. And indeed, from what I understand, she was a part of the Literary and Debating Society there at the Charlestown Sixth Form. She was a part of the events that were held over the last weekend, this past weekend, and at least those whom she would have interacted with, I'm sure would have taken this in such a difficult way, because for them, I'm sure it was a surprise and a sudden event. And so we want to say to the mother and the family of Leticia, we understand the challenges and the difficulties you may be facing at this time, but only God. Trust in God. And also those who can lend their support, please do so that the burden can be made a little bit lighter at this point in time. Also, last week we would have learned of the passing of Lady Vanita, or Vernie, as we would say, Amory. That is the wife of the former Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Vance Amory, now deceased as well. She would have passed away, I believe it was last Tuesday. Last Tuesday, I believe, yeah. That being said, you know, the exploits that Vance Amory would have had was done so with the support of Mrs. Amory. Mrs. Amory, when you have a team, 1-2 team, then you know each would have leaned or would have depended on each other, or you know, strengthened each other along the way. And I'm sure Vernie would have done such. And indeed, her efforts during the time she was on earth, during the time she was married to Vance Amory, would have made a difference in many ways. And so we want to thank her for her services, thank her for being there for the former Premier. And indeed, she's now departed, and we'll listen up to see what the arrangements are like in the future. So the Concerned Citizens Movement as a party would have or should have, you know, sent out its condolences to the family of Vernie Amory. I'm sure it has been done. That was requested of by the leader of the party, so I'm hoping that has been done. But I'm just expressing my side of it as a member of this great party, and knowing Vernie well, I certainly would want to express my personal condolences as well. Andy Hendrickson, this is someone who would have passed away some time ago. I haven't come here for a couple of weeks, but he's from the Hanleys Road area, young chap, maybe mid-50s thereabout. I remember him from my school, Gingerland High School, that is. We are saddened by the fact that he has passed at a young age, because if he was 54 or 55, I consider that to be young, because I am 57 and I am saying to the world that I'm still young at heart, young in age too. But when persons depart this life at such age, then you have to say it is unfortunate and regrettable in many ways. But you know, as I said before, life is a cycle. You're born, you live, you die, and there are things that happen along the way that will create, you know, challenges whereby you depart. Yeah, and so I always say, whatever you do, just enjoy what time you have. There's a saying, we are not here for a long time, but we are here for a good time, or something of that sort. The good time is to ensure that you're balancing life, you're enjoying life, taking care of your family, taking care of yourself, and ensuring that at least you are taking care of your health. And in taking care of your health, that would probably, in most cases, give you some longevity in life. So you just have to do what you have to do, yeah? It's incumbent upon all of us to do so. And then, of course, over the last couple of days, we would have lost Vincent Clark. Well, we call him Humpy. He was a taxi driver, an ambassador for the island of Nevis, because he was the one who interacted with many of our visitors to the island of Nevis. Humpy would have passed away a few days ago, and so we want to also express sympathies to the family of Humpy. I have known Humpy for many of years, ever since he worked over there or plied his trade over there at the old Newcastle Airport. I say old Newcastle Airport. Used to be called Bambouche, yeah, and not Turkey. Turkey, good afternoon. I'll get to Turkey at some point. But I almost said Turkey, but Humpy. Well, Humpy and Turkey used to be over there together anyway. So Humpy was there in his car. He had a car then, and he was one who took special interest and care of his vehicles. You all remember that bus he would have had there, the last grey van that he had? Every vehicle that he would have had, he would have taken special care of it. And so the resale value in most cases, I'm sure, was very high. So Humpy is no longer with us, and of course, many persons here on the island of Nevis would be mourning the loss of Humpy, especially those folks who would interact with him down there at the Four Seasons Resort, persons from NASPA, persons from all up and down Nevis. Once they would have had a chance to interact with him, he will be a loss for them, yeah? And so I want to express my profound and deepest sympathy to all of the families. And of course, I almost forgot, but just in passing and mentioning as well too, I don't have the exact name, but I know I would have conveyed my best wishes and condolences to Mrs. Hazel Manners David. She works down there at the National Insurance. She would have lost her mom, and of course her dad, who is Bam. We call him Bam. Plays steel band and steel pan and everything. I want to say condolences to the entire Manners family. Indeed, I believe the funeral of Mrs. Manners is on Monday afternoon. All being well, I'll try my best to go and pay my last respect as well. So that takes care of those, and anyone else who I didn't mention. We know that there seem to be some challenges throughout the island now in terms of persons passing. So I may have missed someone, but whomever is in the bereaved column, I want to express my profound sympathies to you. And I will say this to you, that the scriptures offer profound comfort, and in times of bereavement, I believe we can turn to the scriptures for some relief, if I can put it that way, and inviting God's presence into your life. And of course, I am reminded of Psalms 34 verse 18, I believe it is. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and help those who are crushed in spirit. I believe I was right with that one. Yes, I believe that is what it is. If I'm incorrect, then go to Psalms 34 verse 18 and see what it says. I think it says something like that, and I think I'm correct. And when I get out on the street, someone will tell me, yes, you're correct, or no, you are incorrect. But any which way, the whole idea is the scriptures provide us with a level of comfort in these challenging and difficult times. And I would admonish all of us to stick close to the Holy Word. Sound like a preacher, but it's what it is. We are a Christian society, and we believe. Yeah? Okay, so let's move right along. And of course, before I go any further, let me say, anyone who are currently hospitalized, I want to express get well greetings to you. And it's probably a time for you to rest up and recharge and, recover from whatever ailment you may be going through at this point in time. I want to at this point in time express get well greetings, but it seems like she has a challenge ahead of her, and that is Charlene Huggins, who is up there at the Alexandra Hospital. She has been going through some challenging times within the last couple of weeks and months, and so whatever the situation is, I would pray that the Lord would put a healing hand on her. And of course, whatever the outcome is, we just have to understand that God knows best, yeah? And all of the doctors and nurses and ancillary staff, those who provide any services there to the Alexandra Hospital, we want to express our profound thanks to you, and to say to you that you're doing a marvelous job in taking care of the sick persons among us, persons who have medical challenges, because most times there is where the first stop is, yeah? And so it is your job to ensure that you provide that level of service and comfort, and indeed the remedy to bring about some improvement in person's medical situation. So I want to thank you very much for your effort. Okay, moving right along. Birthdays. There's some people who are celebrating today, and I just want to quickly express birthday greetings to a few persons who I have on my list there. First and foremost, Roger Fifield. He works over there at Long Point at Customs. Roger, good afternoon to you and happy birthday to you, sir. And whatever you do today, have fun. Enjoy your life, you know. And I just want to know if you're going to be on the grill later as you normally would do on a Friday afternoon, because I normally stop by and get my grilled fish. So if it is that you're not going to be on the grill later and you plan to go out and have a 3-course meal, perhaps with your wife, and enjoy your birthday, well, hey, so be it. We'll come back again next Friday afternoon. But if you'll be there, just send me a message and say you'll be on the grill so that I can collect my fish as usual. You do a marvelous job on the grilled fish there that I collect on a Friday evening. So let me know by just sending me a text. You don't even have to call. But if you intend to go out and have fun. And I would say to you, I don't know what's in your bank account, but if you have $100, spend 50 on yourself, yeah? Enjoy your life. Trust me. Enjoy your life. These days people are, exiting one by one, two by two, and so forth. So enjoy what you have to do. Do what you have to do and enjoy life, I must say. Shoya Matthew over there in Jessups. She's celebrating today as well. Shoya, I say the same thing to you. Go out and enjoy your birthday. Have fun. Enjoy life. Enjoy as if it's the last, but we wish you many more. And of course, Shalisa Bartlett, she works up there at Zone 1 Auto. She is celebrating today as well. Shalisa, enjoy your birthday. Have fun as well. And do what you have to do. Tomorrow, of course, my brother up there in Baltimore, Maryland, Albert Mando Jeffers. Those of you who didn't know, I'm telling you all, Mando used to be around the teaching and watch that. He has migrated for some time now. He's celebrating tomorrow. Well, my brother, enjoy your birthday tomorrow. And do likewise. Have fun. You probably might have many more. You probably might have many different places you can go in the United States to celebrate your birthday, as against us here in Nevis. But whatever you do, just have fun and enjoy. And I wish you many, many more years of celebration as well. On Sunday, my good friend Leon Lescott will be celebrating his birthday on Sunday. Leon, when it comes on Sunday, do likewise. I wish you many, many more years of celebration. I would hope that I can come and spend a little time with you as well on your birthday. I'm going to call you, and I'm saying it publicly. And I believe Mrs. Lescott is listening. So if she's listening, please convey the message to Leon that I want to come up and spend a few minutes and say happy birthday. I'm saying it publicly now, but I want to come privately and say it as well too. So enjoy your birthday on Sunday, Leon, and I wish you many, many more years of happiness in the future. Vernice Weeks up there in New York is celebrating her birthday on Sunday as well. Vernice is from the Nisbet settlement area, but she lives up in New York, and she stays in touch with what is going on here on the ground in Nevis. So Vernice, good afternoon to you and happy birthday in advance. And I want to ask God's blessings on you so that you can live to see many, many more years of celebration as well. Next Tuesday is Erica Allen from up there in Madden's. Yeah, Erica, when it comes on Tuesday, enjoy your birthday. Yeah, I'll probably get a chance to catch up with you as well. And then, of course, next Thursday, I just made a note of this. Next Thursday is my good friend Franchette Manners. He owns and operates that same business up there at the top of Craddock Road on the Stuart Williams Drive, Zone 1 Auto. So he's celebrating this upcoming Thursday. And then there are quite a number of persons who will be celebrating next Friday. So when I come here, God's willing, I'll go through those as well too. So that takes care of the birthday celebration for our celebrants for today. And moving forward, so we'll move on to something else. The weather outside is beautiful. Typical Nivision weather. We had some rain this morning. Places green, lush. And of course, the landscapers are probably happy. The farmers equally would be as happy as well too. And so we are thankful for the rain, even though it is not torrential rain or it doesn't last for a long time. We get some sharp showers, and I guess it's enough to keep the earth moist and keep the grass growing and the fruit trees blooming and so forth. So we are thankful to the Almighty for that as well. Okay, and as I touch on that, let me go on to my public service announcement. And some may say I spend a long time on this, but let me say this, I have no apology for that, because you have to recognize people. This show is about people, recognizing them, whether it's their birthday, whether they are going through some difficult times in terms of losing a loved one, or whether it's a matter of getting some information out. And I do that from time to time, and I have no difficulty doing it because, trust me, there are persons out there who would call me on a daily basis or just before I come on the show and say, please express happy birthday to me, not to me, but to them, and also express happy birthday for a family member or for that matter. So people like to hear their names being called, and so I appreciate doing that for persons. So we leave that. But as I was saying, we're just talking about the weather, and of course, coming up next Thursday and Friday is a major event down there at the ETW Park, the El Comido Tonito Willett Park. That is the 30th hosting of the Agriculture Open Day, now dubbed the Agri Expo. This is a major milestone, and this event is one that should not be missed. It has been around for 30 years, and of course it has grown over the years, meaning it has left the station up there, or the agriculture station up there at Prospect, where it started, and it came down to the Villa grounds down there at Charlestown Secondary School, and now it is in the E.T. Willett Park. And so we want to thank persons like Augustine Merchant, who was the brainchild of this particular event, and also persons like Sam Powell, who is now departed, all those who have now gone on to the great beyond, and all those who are still here playing their part to ensure that it continues and there's some sustainability in this event. It has shown over the years that the persons who organize are resilient people, because it has been a challenge over the years in many regards, but it is still ongoing, and we certainly appreciate that. There are various ministers of agriculture who have played their part as well, including myself. I've been there for quite a number of years as well, and I've seen this event grow over the years. So Augustine Merchant, though, I want to single him out. I haven't seen him for quite some time, but if you're listening to me, Augustine, I want to say best wishes to you. Thank you for what you have done in agriculture, and thank you for what you did during the time that I was there as the Minister of Agriculture, because what you would have done and said to me and encouraged me to do would have made a difference in the way we would have done agriculture and promoted agriculture then. So the 30th anniversary is coming up on Thursday and Friday, 2 days, and it is an event that I would say it is one of those events that includes all of the stakeholders who are connected to the agricultural sector: farmers, fisher folks, livestock farmers, agro-processors, and of course those who sell equipment and so forth connected to the sector, TDC, Horsfords, and of course all of the allied agencies, the Republic of China, Taiwan Technical Mission, CARI, ICA, the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, UE, all of those institutions normally would play their part in this particular event, but more so throughout the years they have played their part to help us develop agriculture. And so this will be a historical moment in time where all of these stakeholders will be recognized, and indeed it would be an event, like I said, for everyone to come and be a part of. Of course, we normally would get visitors from down in Statia, from St. Kitts, from neighboring islands, as far as Trinidad and Tobago, as far as Jamaica, so they would come and be a part of this event, and it is one that is worth witnessing. So if there are anyone out there who are listening who are involved in agriculture in your various territory, come and see what we normally would do here during our Agriculture Open Day, now dubbed the Agri Expo. I want to invite you to Nevis. It's not too late to book a trip. It's not too late to call your airlines. It's not too late to charter a boat, whatever the case might be. Come and see what we're doing and see how we have transformed agriculture here on the island of Nevis. So that is coming up next Thursday and Friday. Should be a good day. Bring your wallet, bring your purse, bring whatever it takes to offload some of those funds down there so that our farmers can feel that their efforts and exploit over the last year and years was not in vain. Or, let me say, is not in vain. Because if they produce, they need to get some sales. And with those sales, they would use the funds to, pay whatever expenses are related to their farming practices, support their family, take care of themselves. So they need to be supported, yeah? Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you. Let's move on from there. Okay. Sunday, I want to put this plug in for my cousin, Juliet Jeffers. She has come and she is doing a wonderful thing for us in terms of having movies done here on the island of Nevis, but more so promoting the island of Nevis in the international arena. So she's doing a fabulous job. From the time she came, I don't think she has lost that connection in any way with Nevis at this point in time, or even prior to coming to do this particular movie, Pangal. But since she has done this work, it seemed like she has, how should I say, found a new love for the island of Nevis, and by extension the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. She's a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis by way of descent. Her father was from Butlers, my uncle of course, and indeed she has certainly made it her business to do something wonderful for the island of Nevis. So she's coming on Sunday afternoon, 5:30 p.m. down there at the NIPAC, where she'll have the screening of Pangal. Remember, she had the world premiere some months ago, and she has gone to various film festival throughout the international community, and she's been trying her best to get Pangal to the point where she can get a full-blown movie out there to show to the entire world. And so she's coming on Sunday afternoon, 5:30 p.m. I'm inviting one and all to come down to NIPAC. There is a nominal fee. I call it a nominal fee of $20 for adults to enter and $10 for children under 12 and under. I believe that's what it is. And of course, following the screening of Pangal, then there'll be a question and answer segment with Julia Jeffers herself, Sidney Mitchell, Deb Dixon, Winston Crook, everyone know Winston, and of course Jamal Jean-Jacques. So those are the folks who will be there to answer some of your questions. And of course, those who are aspiring actors and actresses, come along, come and experience what it's like then, eh? Okay, usually I would have this Easter cricket extravaganza over there at the Viogen Sporting Complex. That's normally held on Easter Sunday. Regrettably, we won't have that this year. Why? There is an ongoing league put on by the Nevis Cricket Association where all of the various teams here on the island of Nevis are engaged, and I believe it's the first division and second division. So that being said, I do not want to come in conflict with that particular league. I believe that that's enough cricket for that weekend, so we'll give the Nevis Cricket Association and the cricketers a chance to compete and play their competition and get that to an end, of course, without any further disruption. So we leave that for now. So we leave the cricket festival, the extravaganza for this year, but I'll say this, it is my hope to have it next year, God's willing, so we'll work towards that as well. But I will say further, not on that, but further in terms of what I would normally do, because there's normally the cricket extravaganza on the Easter weekend, and then on the Whit weekend, Whit Monday, we normally would have this Whit Monday medical fundraiser. That is truly on. We're having that event on the 25th of May, which is Monday the 25th of May. And of course, we have already started all of the planning. We have engaged the entertainers, and we are already sending out some letters to solicit assistance or contributions. And so we're putting even more effort into this particular event. So I want to thank, at this point in time, Amoy Nisbet over there in Brick Hill. He's one of the organizers. As a matter of fact, I will say he's one of the brainchild of this particular event. I want to thank in advance all of the persons who normally would assist us every year, and all of those persons who would contribute as well. I haven't touched base with all of the contributors, and I haven't touched base with all of the helpers as yet, but consider this as the word to you, or the outreach to you, that we are coming to you to ask for your support as usual. Now, this would be held, like I said, on the 25th of May, which is Monday the 25th, with Monday. And of course, we'll have breakfast from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Then at 10 a.m. to 12 noon, we'll have brunch. You know, brunch is what you do between breakfast and lunch, so you call it brunch. And then, of course, lunch from 12 noon to 4 p.m. And then thereafter, we'll have dinner and a sunset menu as well for you, because we're going down until 11 p.m. on that day. The entertainment we already have on paper that we have solicited, engaged, and contracted with: New Vibes Band, Grandmasters Band, DJ Wet Dot. Those are coming out of St. Kitts. Of course, we have DJ Lalbo, DJ Zimba, Destiny Band, which is a band up there in the Brick Hill area, and of course Itebulus, who came last year, and we're bringing him back this year because he's a wonderful entertainer, so he's coming back. And of course, all of the funds that we raise for this event will be donated to persons who have medical challenges, who we will identify over the next week or two, a couple of weeks as we go along. But we normally would cover expenses, and then all of the funds that are left we will distribute to the identified medical patient or medical recipient. And so that is what is planned for the 25th of May, with Monday. So I want to solicit your support in advance. We'll say more about that as we go. We are starting early because we want it to be a grand affair right there in the heart of Brick Hill. Okay? And so we move along from there. Before I go, I will say that up to this point in time, I believe we have raised, over the last 4 going on 5 years, this is our 5th hosting, over $70,000, I believe, and I stand corrected, but we have distributed quite a bit of money over the years, and we are very open and transparent about these funds, in that we ensure that we take those monies to the recipient and document that, and we have archived that as well too, because when it comes to money and you're soliciting the support of the general public, you need to be able to present to the general public what you have done with those funds. Yeah, so that is what we continue to do. But over $70,000, I believe, we have raised thus far and distributed. Yeah, okay, so we move along from there. Okay, quickly, inter-school primary will be held on the 1st of April over there at the Mundo track, and I want to, at least at this point in time, express our best wishes to all of the schools and all of the athletes who will be performing in that particular event. This is one of the largest events outside of Culturama, so to speak, and then outside of what we normally would have. No, I think it is bigger than the open day that is held down there at the E.T. Willett Park. So I want to invite one and all, put that on your calendar and come out and lend your support on that particular day to the schools, to the athletes, the parents who would support their children as well too. I say come out and lend your support collectively as a community to the entire event. Okay, very good. Let's move right along. Okay, earlier this week, and this is out there in social media as well, there was a presentation made to some young cricketers over there at the VOGen Sporting Complex. I want to thank what's his name now, Curtis Morton, for coming along to offer his services to document that particular ceremony to hand over some tokens to our young cricketers who have gone off to Antigua to participate in the under 19, under 15. I stand corrected right there, or let me correct myself. Under 15 Leeward Islands trials camp. I believe they're trying to get to 14 players to make up that squad, but they would have actually invited 15 players, from my understanding, from the various territories, from St. Kitts, Nevis, Anguilla, St. Martin, Antigua, Montserrat, Anguilla. I think from those 7 territories. So I name all those territories because the numbers are going to be important to note as well. Because if you're seeking to get 14 players, they would have invited 15. And so there were 3 invitees from St. Kitts as far as I'm aware. And of course from the Nevis end, 7 players were invited to be a part of that training camp. Yeah, and I am proud to say that 6 of the 7 from Nevis are from the Wendell Austin Wallace Academy. And so I want to congratulate Mr. Wendell Micey Wallace for his exploits over the years. This academy is just about 2 years old, but he has been working with the youngsters for quite a number of years. That field over there at VOJ, and I have said it publicly and I can say it again, I think it is time to perhaps name it the Wendell Austin Wallace sporting facility or something. I don't know. I think he owns it. Yeah? When I say he owns it, he has spent a lot of hours there along with other persons who would have worked with him, Veli and Albi and all those guys who keep the place well kept and the pitch in good form or good condition, and the feel and everything. So I want to say that they have been doing a wonderful job. But back to these guys. Let me name the 6 players from the academy because it's important. Kiris Farrell, Nicholas Hero, Demari Prentice, Deshaun James, Kamari France, and Ryan Marchand. Yeah, those are the 6 players, along with the additional player who is not from the academy, Aidan Williams. He's the 7th player from Nevis, should have gone. Now, I am expecting all 7 to make the Leeward Islands under 15 team. That is me saying it. And I believe we have the talent and the skill set among these players for all of them. Nicholas Hero is a left-handed batsman. He's very good. Deshaun James, an excellent right-handed batsman. He opens the batting as well. Bolo, well, I say Bolo, but that is Kiris Farrell. Bolo, he's affectionately called. Very good batsman as well, too. So we have a good balance here, and I believe we'll be hearing good things about these 7 players, but more so the 6 that comes from the Wendell Austin Wallace Cricket Academy. So I want to say to my good friend up there in New York, Bunks Skeet, that is the brother of Turkey or Glenroy Skeet. Bunks is one of those fellows who just love cricket. Cricket is his passion, and I know he should be proud to hear that 6 players from the academy, the Wendell Austin Wallace Academy, is a part of this squad. Yeah, and so if anyone is listening, and you know that Bunks is not listening, let him know that we are doing some good things over there at the VOJ and Sporting Facility. He don't come to Nevis unless he go and watch cricket once cricket is being played. Cricket will be played down at Bal Pasha, he's going to go. If cricket is at VOJ and playing facility, he's going to go. If it's down in St. Kitts somewhere, even down in Keon or Sandy Point, Bunks is going to go. And that's what I love about him. He's one fan that you love to have around because he loved the game. Yeah, so congratulations to Micey, and then of course the persons who would have made donations to these young cricketers. Never happened during my time, so I'm happy that we are seeing it fit to do it for these youngsters because they need the support, and this donation can act as incentives for them to do well. But not only that, the incentive should always be there for them to do well because there's big money, so to speak, in cricket these days. Not like back in our days when it was Trump change, you know. Lots of money is available now. So the academy would have given $200 to each player, and of course, Grandson's Trucking, the proprietor there is my friend Botai. He would have given $50 to each player as well, and of course for myself I would have given $50 to each player. So for total from me, 300 US from Botai and Grandson Chucking, and of course $1,200 from the academy, from Micey and his team there at the academy. So each person would have walked away with just about $470 per person, easy, if you were to do it in easy, that is. So that, I believe, is a good gesture, so they can take care of some personal expenses when they get to Antigua. Yeah, so I wish them well, and I did say to them, if they fail in one match, don't be hard on yourself. Come back the next match and recognize the mistakes you may have made in the initial match, and then do better in the second, and just tell yourself, listen, I'm carrying the whole of Nevis on my shoulder. I want to make them feel proud, and I also want to make my family proud and the academy proud. So I know we'll hear good things. I'm going to listen up. Yeah, moving right along. Yes, I haven't been here for some weeks, so I have a lot of things here on my paper that I want to get off. But anyway, time is running away. Let's go quickly. The Holy Water Taxi Facility. This is the first time for this month that I'm reporting the February numbers. Of course, we had a total of 32,387 passengers who passed through the facility there during the month of February. Last year, if we are to compare, it was just about 23,750 passengers who would have passed through that particular facility. So we had a net or plus of 8,637 passengers who passed through that facility. So we had an increase then of just about 26% over last year. That is phenomenal, right? You add that to the running tally that we have currently, because at the end of January, we would have seen 1,437,971 passengers would have passed through the facility at the end of January. That is tallying from way back in 2019. I'm keeping the data going, you know. And then, of course, you add what has transpired in the month of February, then we are now up to 1,470,358 passengers. So we're growing. We're going and moving ahead over there. Yeah, beautiful facility, doing exactly what we expected it to do. So we have seen an increase in passenger movement. We have seen an increase in revenue collection. Of course, with increased passengers, of course you'll have increased revenue, increased business in many ways, increased opportunities, and of course the efficiencies continue to increase over there as well. People are now understanding what they have to do, and I believe that we're certainly seeing some upward trends over there that are positive indicators that this particular investment, which is a revenue generating investment, has certainly paid off big time. Because if you were to do the maths, I believe in excess of $45 million have been generated via the passenger collection, the collection of passenger fees. Not even talking about the $5 that NASPA would collect. I'm talking about what the boat owners, and I'm not here to count anybody's monies, but the bottom line is, when you hear nothing happening and all of the negatives that are being spewed out there, there are certainly positive things happening on the island of Nevis. Of course, all of the restaurants in Nevis, pretty much most or if not all of them, can speak glowingly about what is happening over there at the Holy Water Taxi facilities. So restaurant, bars, and indeed guest houses, Airbnbs, and hotels, villas, whatever the case might be. Once people come and they're visitors, they want somewhere to stay, and they'll stay at these places. Once they come, they want something, they want to eat something, or they have to go somewhere to eat something, they go to restaurants and shops and so forth. If they want to get to places there, they take a taxi, rent something, or rent a vehicle, or whatever the case might be. So there's always something or someone benefiting from the exploits over there at the Holy Water Taxi facility, right? So we want to continue to implore upon the workers to continue to offer excellent service over there, so that the guest who pass through there, even if it is me, I'm a guest, even if it's a local, we are guests, going through there. But of course, those who come to our shores, we want to offer them the best service possible, because you always hear you never get a second chance to create a first impression. So it's always good to do so. And a lot of those folks who come in on those cruise ships on St. Kitts would come through that facility because they want to see what Nevis is like. And when they come once, trust me, if the service is impeccable, the service is top notch, they will come back. Because you hear what I said? First impression count. You never get a second chance to create a first impression. Yeah. Speaking of restaurants, earlier this week or sometime last week we saw. I'm going to touch on this quickly before we run out of time. Earlier, it was last week, I believe, we saw on the news media and social media something about some challenges being faced by a restaurant or beach bar down there on St. Kitts over in the Friars Bay area. And when I read that bit of news or bit of posting, whatever the case might be or whatever you want to call it, I looked at it and I said, I looked at it and I say, there are a couple of things about that we can look at, and at least we, in a decision-making capacity, can certainly be proud of some of the decisions we have taken, in that when I look at what is going on down there at Pinnis, with all those beach bars that are down there, I recall that 14-acre tract of land was secured by the Honorable Malcolm Gishard back in the day, when the lands down in that area were bought from the Pinnis Investment Company or Corporation or something of that sort. But anyway, those lands were bought, and that particular 14-acre tract of land was carved out for Nevisions. We now know that the Malcolm Gishard Park was built, and then you go down to the Pinnis Beach area, the beachfront has been enhanced. And of course, the point I want to make, though, is that I recall back in 2013, a decision was made, and I was at the forefront in that decision, because I remember having a conversation with all of those beach bar owners who were there at the time, persons like Sunshine and Randy and the likes. I tell them, listen, guys, I'm going to go about the process of subdividing this particular tract of land to make sure that you have a piece for yourself, because a time and a period of time is going to come along, or some point in the future someone will come along, and because you don't have the necessary documents to say that you have ownership or you're entitled to be there, somebody's going to push down your bar and push you out of there. And I wanted Nevisions to have a secured place right in their homeland, right on the best beach on the island of Nevis. And so I would have engaged Simeon Hill, surveyor, go down and subdivide that particular area. And I can't recall what each size of lot is down there. Can't recall, but whatever it is, it's big enough for all of the bars that are down there, right? So the subdivision was done, and each person right now down there have a lease in their hand for their for the spot that their beach bar is on. Each one of them. And this must be something that we must all give credit to the Concerned Citizens Movement in government. It wasn't done between 2006 and 2013, but it was done in 2013-14 thereabout. So you come from up here where Double Deuce was and go down, all of them have their lease. And the next thing I would want to say is that every single restaurant or bar owner down there, they are Nevision. They are citizen of this country, but a citizen of this island. Yeah? So even if the bar was constructed and they would have sublet to someone else, the original owner or the original lease would have been in the name of a Nevision. And so whomever have a lease down there, well, somebody can go down, or an administration can take a decision and go down and push them out, but there'll be consequences. There'll be costs to pay for that. So I feel good that we have done that for our people. And so when I see these things happening in other countries, I want to say to everyone here on the island of Nevis, if you're currently squatting, if you're on any lot or any land that belongs to the Crown, to the NHLDC, the easiest thing to do is to go down to the NHLDC, whether it's Crown Land or whatever, go down to the NHLDC and have a conversation. If you are doubtful, go to the Ministry of Agriculture or go up to Prospect at the Department of Agriculture and ask a question. Make sure that you have a legal right to be on those lands. I don't think I am telling anyone anything that doesn't make sense. I am telling you this because as we go along on this journey, the use of lands will become important in many ways. Your legal connection to that land will be even more important. And so I'm advising persons to go and get some connection to the land that you find yourself on. And so when I see what is happening down there on the island of St. Kitts, I am saying that we as an administration, the Concerned Citizens Movement in government, would have made a decision. And that decision, I believe, is one that has given persons down there in Pennies a chance to make money and more money. People don't like to hear me talk about money, but the ultimate reason for going into business is to make money. Yeah? And so I am proud of that decision. And when I look around down there and I see what that has become, it is because we have gone about the process of organizing down there to start with. And part of the organization was to make sure that you put a lease in each person's hand and tell them that is the level of comfort that you need to go ahead and invest even further to build up your business. Yeah? And so I'm proud of that. And every time I look at what is happening around the region and looking at what happens, even in our neighboring island there in St. Kitts, I say, kudos to the Concerned Citizens Movement. I'm going to take some credit too, because sometimes we get a lot of knocks, a lot of licks for various reasons. I'll take some credit for that because I made sure that each person down there was indeed equipped with, that piece of paper. I think I'm running out of time, but quickly before I go, I went to an event in St. Kitts. I believe it was last Thursday. Yeah, a funeral. The church that I was at, and I'm not going to call any name, got there early. Water was running. By the time the service was completed, water was off. I say that to say this. I've listened to what is going on in various neighboring islands. Listen to radio stations in Antigua. You hear all kind of talk on radio that I haven't had water for 3 weeks. Some say I haven't had water for 2 weeks, whatever the case might be. And I even heard a clip from the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, who said that they're going to be bringing a barge full of water out of Dominica into St. Lucia. Yeah? So St. Kitts, water is still on and off, sporadic, whatever the case might be. Antigua, for example, 2-3 weeks, no water in the pipe. St. Lucia is now saying that they are bringing in a barge full of water, and it looks like it's going to be an ongoing thing because of the water scarcity that they're experiencing in St. Lucia. I bring that up because sometimes we tend to spew the most negative and the worst things about Nevis, when in truth and in fact, this administration, the Concerned Citizens Movement in government, have done an excellent job to ensure that we have an excess of water here on the island of Nevis. Some may say, oh, it's the job of the government to do it. You can say what you like about it, it's the job of the government, but the resources that is needed to ensure that we get to that particular point, it would have been a lot of money. Millions, over $50 million was spent to ensure that we enhance the water situation here in Nevis. I wanted to tie that into something, but I'll have another time to do so. I'm running out of time, so I won't tie it into what I need to tie it into, but I bring that up because when we hear all sorts of negatives being said about the island of Nevis, I want the people of Nevis to know and to understand that you're in good hands with the Concerned Citizens Movement, because those on the other side who keep complaining have never come with a prescription. They had a chance there. And we know we spent over $30 million for water here on the island of Nevis with nothing to show for it. Nothing other than the bills that we were paying. Yeah? And so I want to say that in terms of what we have done for the island of Nevis and continue to do, with all this talk about destiny and whomever, we continue to press on. And the work is there to be done. We love to work and we'll continue to work. Well, the song said, press along, saints, press along. We're in God's hand, so we're pressing along. And so I want to wrap up there for now, right? I know it's really short for True Boy. But anyway, I want to say thank you for listening this afternoon. It was indeed my pleasure being here. And like I always say, if you go to church on a Saturday, go and serve your God. If you go on a Sunday, do likewise. Say I pray for this station. Say I pray for me, for the entire Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Pray for wisdom so that our leaders and all those who make decisions on behalf of this island and this country will make the right decision. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Continue to do your best to take care of yourself and your family. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.